Mr.
Hello.
Mr.
Yes, Amon.
Yes, Amon.
I'm requesting our group to present to share the screen next because I'm caught with time.
You have overweighted what if we are having a class?
I'm sorry, sir, but let's
You
consider.
mean you would have logged out?
Sorry. Let's move on.
Yes, Amon.
Yes, sir.
You mean you would have logged out long time ago? Okay, now you are going to present next. Now, guys who have presented right now, I have seen your work. I have gone through it. I hope you are hearing me.
Yes, sir, we are getting you.
We are getting you.
Yes, but you have challenges. I don't know which software we are using to draw these diagrams, but your diagrams are not in order with the rules that we are supposed to follow. So regarding the ARD and data flow diagrams, I don't agree with them. Yes, you have what is supposed to be in data flow diagram, but the drawings that you have made themselves are not following the rules that we follow. I would basically say that you can open lecture 4 data and process modeling, and you look at some drawings that I was making on data flow diagrams. Because data flow diagram, I expect to see data store. I'm not seeing it. There is a scenario where there is an arrow, but they are pointing in space. Confirm booking, make a booking. Make a booking is pointing to nothing, and confirm booking is pointing at payment. So we have to make third part of this review very well. The same applies to the sequence diagram. I don't know where these arrows are moving from. I'm not seeing the actor and the lifeline. According to the illustration I made with you, a sequential diagram is supposed to have a dotted line. Where you put banker system, I expect a dotted line, which we call the lifeline. So check your drawings very well so that you can match each and everything clearly. Use the softwares that I was demonstrating with you in class so that you can be able to achieve the best. Otherwise, you are using Microsoft Word and we are using these arrows to come up with something related to what you need to achieve. That's why you have this error. So I have graded you. You'll find the gradings on your portal. Right now I have so far, I'm left with 71. So if some of you present today, those who present are the ones I assess. So let us allow the group of Amon to present so fast, because I'm stopping the lecture at exactly 8:30.
Good evening, guys. This is a group which Amon is in, and we allocated the question. We selected a question involving Chambogo University hostel management system. Flavia, if you're there, you can take over and give us an introduction on this next slide.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Flavia. We attempted option 2, which is the hostel allocation system. So when you look at the question given,
The question. Okay, okay. Thank you very much, Flavia. Ouma, are you coming in? Okay, okay. David, let me put in the draw.io screen. It's the same, but at least here we shall have a good view. You can proceed. Okay, should I zoom in? Okay. Oh, thank you very much, Mr. David. I think we have the Figma. Yes, the okay, okay. So this is a live one, eh? So meaning we can play with it. It is not static. Yes, you can move it. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, it actually means one student can have histories with different hostels depending on the semester or trimester you're in. For example, Chambogo University may be having 3 hostels. This semester you may be in this hostel, the next semester you're in another hostel. So that bridges that relationship with the data. Yeah. Flavia, what could, according to our guide, yes? Yes, we are done with this one. Okay. For Figma. Okay. This is also a live connection to Figma. So, Professor Amon, feel free to chip in anytime. Um, so, with Figma, we are required to develop 2 layouts. One would be for mobile first, and then the other one would be for the desktop. I think this is basically for responsivity, since users or people in the world, they have basically 2 preferences. Most people prefer using phones, the others prefer using computers or desktops. So our first mock-up is for the screens of a smartphone. If I zoom out slightly, you can see that the 3 mock-ups here are for the smartphone. The first screen here is basically focusing on the admin dashboard. And if you look at the interface or the UI, the admin is able to create new users and do a lot of CRUD operations. If we say CRUD, we are basically meaning the admin is able to create, read, update, and delete users. Then the second screen here, which you see in the middle, is basically a student registration form. So here we need to pay critical attention here. In our design, all these fields here are going to be compulsory. Why? Because each field there has a record it affects and has a specific purpose and a specific problem it removes, it actually solves. So the student will be required to punch in their student ID. We require this field. Why? Because Chambogo University, as a university, we presume they already have a database of students. So instead of us collecting almost everything, we just decide to get their ID, the ID of the student, and use APIs to connect to the database. And then the gender part, this is so critical because it is part of the problem we are supposed to solve. When a student registers, will have to specify their gender. So basically, according to the laws of Uganda, since the question required us to focus on the Uganda perspective, we only have 2 gender. You're either male or female. So other than that, the law will come for you. With regards to disability status, when the student is registering, the form will always request them to specify if case they have any disability. For example, you have an issue with your leg, your eye, etc. Anything that is abnormal on you that makes you different from others, that's a disability, and the student will be required to register it. This field specifically is important because it gives you special privileges, as we saw in our flow diagram. And then the third screen is basically a room assignment screen. As you can see, we added in some dummy data here to illustrate how the program would be working. Every hostel has a name, a label, just like you may be called Joseph, etc. This one of ours is called Chambogo Tesla Hostel. And every hostel, we shall be issuing it a unique ID. For example, this is KYG Hostel 01 Tesla. And then every hostel has a lot of rooms. So in this context, we are assuming the student has been allocated room 1 in hostel 1. That's why you see our ID is having that chain link KYGHO1 to represent the hostel, and then Tesla just to categorize the name, and then RO1 to represent the room number. And then student registration number, this one we have also just used dummy data. And then down here, whatever you see in gray here, gender, recommended, etc., that is automatically pulling the records from the system. That explains why we're saying here that this student application form, every field is mandatory. Why? Because we would need it here in the allocation part. For example, if your gender is female, at the moment you plug in your student ID or registration number, it should automatically retrieve your records here so that it removes that burden of duplication of records of us re-entering the same information, which would create redundancy in our system. Then we also have a statistics of how many rooms would be remaining during the room assignment process. For example, here we use the dummy data. We said if we have a total room of 100, automatically 10 should be reserved for PWDs, that one depending on the database of Chambogo University with regards to how many students have registered that they have disability. For example, if 5 are registered, they have disability, we put a contingency of ×2 so that we cater for any future anomalies or any future students who would come in when the semester has already started. And he also gives you statistics of the remaining unoccupied rooms. Basically, that is for the mobile layout. The end game would be you to assign in case it is available. So if we look at the desktop users, those who prefer using the desktop, it is basically these same screens, but on a bigger screen. And this is basically for what we call responsivity. A concept of responsivity means if you design an application, it should be able to work on any screen, be it a smartphone, be it a laptop, be it a desktop, be it a smart TV. That's what we call responsivity. So our app would be able to still adapt to the layouts of different screens. So we pulled out an image of a laptop. This credits to Google because that's where we got it. It would be good to credit them. So this first screen is basically the same. Here shows rearrangement of the icons, how they would appear on a desktop. The second screen is also as well a student application form. They would see the same like this. And then the third screen is basically the same concept. But there's something we didn't include on the mobile version. Since the mobile phone has a small interface, we cannot put in everything there. It would make the elements to run off the screen. So we put in only the essential on the mobile part. But once a student is accessing using the desktop version where the screen is bigger, our app will be able to provide an option for real-time statistics of the hostel allocation. As you can see here, when they are doing room assignment, you actually have updates from the back end of the system, regardless of how many admins are assigning the rooms. You always have real-time statistics. For example, in case by the time you're going to allocate the rooms, there were only 29 rooms remaining, and the system must be able to tell you you only have this number of rooms remaining to play with. Else, you are not allowed to perform any transaction. That concludes that part of Figma. Unless someone has a question there, I would like to proceed to the next part. Okay. Good evening, Mr. Amon. I think we are done. If there's a question from the group members, otherwise we are done, or the team, we are done with the presentation. Thank you, sir. Yes, on which part? Good evening, Mr. Subuka. Yes, yes. Okay. Basically, if yeah. Thank you, Mr. Subuga. That is a very good question. Currently, we would when we were if we were to design our system to support offline functionality, we would choose to use Microsoft Power Platform. They have a database called Microsoft Dataverse, which recently, I think in about 4 months ago, they upgraded their offline capability. When you build applications, for example, the application built using Power Platform, they are called Power Apps. There is that option whereby you are allowed to build an offline capability so that even if the app has no internet, the user session are stored locally on the device. Then once internet is detected, it automatically synchronizes with the database. So the database is called Dataverse, and it is robust. If you go to Excel and choose on get data from Dataverse, you can still connect to it. If you use Access, you can still connect to it. It is actually very scalable, and it is one of the latest best designs of Microsoft, which is to rival AWS for Amazon. Thank you.